Welcome back. Thanks for staying with the show. We're here live in Carlsbad at the Power of Mentorship event. My co-host actually is Don Boyer, and our guest is Machen MacDonald. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Now, you are the author of several Power Mentorship books.
Yes.
And you have other books,
Yes,
The Power
I do.
of Coaching and Provoking Your Brilliance.
That's right.
So you are quite a prolific author.
I've written a couple.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a coach, author, and speaker, and basically one of the ways I was introduced to Don was I had written a book already, and I was talking with a friend of mine, Greg Reed, who's one of the co-creators of the movie Pass It On, and we were kind of brainstorming a little bit and trying to find out how could we take some of the messages that I have and get them to a broader audience. And he says, you got to meet one of my friends who has a book series called The Power of Mentorship, and so that's how I was introduced to Don.
Wow.
And one thing just led to another, and Don was gracious enough to allow me to be one of the contributing authors to a couple of the books, and then I had the idea to take it to another level in one of the areas that I work with financial professionals, and we created another book called The Power of Coaching. And so I took Don's model. He mentored me.
Yeah, we worked together on that.
That's right. And from the thought to books off the press took 2.5 months,
Yep.
and corralling a bunch of cats to write this book, and it was a labor of love and power of focus, and we got it done.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So how was that as you as the mentor and the mentee, how was that as a mentor?
Well, you know what? It was excellent because Machen was a great coach. He is a great coach, but he was also a great student.
Okay.
And so talking with him and working with him, it was so easy because he followed all the steps.
Okay.
It was great.
It's good. So,
Yeah.
and you're just really plain, it's just this, and this, and
We just said, this is what you do, and he went out and he made it happen. So good job, Machen.
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thank you.
So tell us what your focus is on when you're coaching.
My focus is really working with business owners, primarily around business plans. When we say the word business plan, people kind of get in this high-speed wobble, or they glaze over and they don't want to think about it, and they usually end up with a 30-page document that sits in a drawer and doesn't really mean anything. So what we do is we kind of take the complexity out of it, the mystery out of it, and we actually boil it down to one page. And it's all about focus. So we help them get an idea of what are they building, that's the vision. Why am I building this business, that's the mission. What's the work that we want to measure and get done, that's the objectives. And then as far as the strategies, that's how we're going to do it. And then there's the action plans. And so when you get it down to one page and you can keep that focus, and you have a coach or a mentor, somebody that's helping you stay on top of this and keep looking at it from day to day to day, it's amazing what just starts to attract and get done. And so it's just fun to watch people that are kind of in that overwhelm of not wanting to do business plans get really excited about a business plan.
Now, a couple questions about business plans. I know a lot of people have trouble with strategies versus tactics. So talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Strategy, if you think about it, is really how are we going to do this work? In other words, I like to tell people that their objectives need to be graphable, not laughable, meaning we need to be able to measure it. If you can't measure it, it's not an objective. So if we get it so that we can measure it and then say, okay, how are we going to do that? What's the work that needs to be done? And then we can build out the strategy. But then the real tactical part to your question is the action plan. So we have to decide who's going to do what by when and make sure all the stakeholders are really clear on it. And then when you have that, you can tie a progress report to it and a couple of scorecards to it. There's no confusion, there's no misunderstandings, and things just move along nicely.
And then people who are maybe not into it as much as they should be, you can say, okay, you're not a good fit, and move right on and bring someone else in.
Yeah, that's true. You want to definitely line up things for people's strengths, because you have some people that are working up here at the 30,000-foot level and they're brilliant at it, and you've got other people that are down at the runway level, and you try to mix that up and it's a disaster. But if you get people aligned based upon their values, their passions, and their purpose, and you can start to align all of that, then you get real production, you get real synergy going, and that's where the real magic is.
Now, I want to go back to one of your first statements. You were saying that the reason why you're building the business, isn't everybody just building the business for money?
You know, one might think so, but not always.
Okay.
I know, Don, and I know yourself and myself, a lot of times a true entrepreneur, a true business owner will actually, leverage credit cards or take out a second mortgage to get the business started. And that's only because it's a labor of love. There's something that people want to give back. And for me, and one of the reasons I've named the book Provoking Your Brilliance, my purpose is to provoke brilliance in other people. I have an inner core belief that everybody has a brilliance to them or a genius, but they're not always knowing how to pull it forward. So hence the word provoking, to pull forth your brilliance. So if you can take your brilliance and your passion, in other words, what you're good at and what you enjoy to do, and line those up, it's amazing how you can actually start making money at it. And people can do, be, and have whatever they want as long as they focus on it.
That's cool.